Last September, Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico were all hit with devastating Category 4 hurricanes. And this year has seen the deadliest and most destructive wildfires in U.S. history, along with several record-breaking hurricanes. But the president's response to these have been inconsistent, to say the least.
So, Rick, I want to thank you.
Trump seems to favor states where Republicans are in charge. Trump went to Texas twice in the first 8 days after Harvey. And after Irma, he traveled to Florida within 4 days. How long after Maria hit did it take him to go to Puerto Rico? 13 days. This year, Trump made it to Florida and North Carolina within a week, but it took him 9 days to plan a trip to California.
We're learning much about Donald Trump's response to natural disasters across the country, and the forthcoming book written by New York Times reporters Jonathan Martin and Alex Burns indicates that Trump would have Democratic governors who were in desperate need for FEMA relief basically compliment him and talk to him in a very specific way in order to get the help they needed. So let's talk a little bit about what happened following the August 2020 tropical storm Isaias. It ravaged through the US eastern coast, including New England. It left behind $4.5 billion in damages and $2.7 million in power outages. And so Governor Ned Lamont reached out to Trump, who was president at the time, because he needed relief. He needed FEMA to come in, people were suffering. And so when Governor Lamont received a call from Washington in response several hours later, it was not a White House aide on the other end of the line. Instead, he found himself speaking with Trump, who said, "There's something you want to ask me about FEMA?" When Lamont replied that he did, in fact, want to ask about FEMA aid, Trump replied, "Well, ask me nicely."
I just watched Trump in real time on TV lie, which he's really good at, but he's lying about the storms. I have family members and friends that have been affected in different states. And the news media allowed it to happen, and they played it. He said that Biden wasn't doing anything. And Biden's doing exactly what the president's supposed to do by initiating things before the storm even arrived, and also to not go to the areas right away and interfere with the emergency responses that are happening. So the former president lied, saying that there were all these things that he was going to do, and he can't. He's not the president. He also acted like the president. People treated him like he was the president, and there's nothing he can do. He talked about getting Starlink set up, and I do know for a fact that satellites have already been opened up. People can already access Starlink. That's how I'm able to get in touch with my sister as much as I am able to via text. I just find it unconscionable what the news media allows him to say, the lies he spews. The other thing that was really interesting was the fact that he has no idea what the damage is like, because he kept turning to other people and saying, "It's bad, isn't it?" He has zero empathy. He cannot take a look at a situation and realize how bad it is, because nothing has ever been bad for him until now, when he's getting caught for all the crimes that he's doing.
Back when Hurricane Florence hit in North Carolina, Donald Trump sat on his ass for 2 months. He let the government shut down. 41 people died, and Roy Cooper had to get on his knees and beg him for 2 months for help. All right, you want to know where my president's at now? All right, he's already declared North Carolina a federal disaster, all right, which speeds FEMA up. All right, we got 3 federal teams here already in the first place. We got 50 search teams, 19 states sending helicopters, supplies, and manpower. You want to know where the my president is? He's here, all right? Only thing I wanted to know was where the my president was at.
Hello and welcome to Let's Think About It. It's a show where I would like to try and just ask you to take a few minutes of your time to remove your biases, to remove your preconceived ideas about the candidates, and just kind of listen to me for about a few minutes, just take into consideration the things that I have to say. All right? And then after that, you can do what you want. My name is Warner, and I'll be your host today. So as you can see with the last few clips that I have made, we were talking about natural disasters and what our former president did during those natural disasters. Now this is a very serious topic, and I'm reluctant to talk about it just because the whole politicizing of some of this types of tragedies is, to me, just plain wrong. Especially when I think that in cases like these, we should come together as a nation. Now, as you can tell in some of the former clips, President Donald Trump would take these tragedies and sometimes use these to his advantage by using them as bargaining chips. That if, or maybe not really bargaining chips, they're just a way to boost his ego. He would tell governors to specifically praise him or ask him nicely, which I think is pretty weird, to lack of better terms. And then he would take Democratic governors or Republican governors and just give them what they want. Florida and Texas, no exception. I think that just on the surface, if you were to hear any other politician doing that, it would be very disturbing, I would think, very challenging to your belief in their character. So that would be something I would really consider. All right. And I know, moving back to the present with the response from Hurricane Helene, Donald Trump has visited these areas, and he really doesn't have a lot of weight to do anything because he's not currently the president. But what he does have is a lot of pull. A pull that he can use to motivate companies and other people out there who may not necessarily donate to this tragedy, but decide to donate. And when I say donate, and I'm not certain if he has been asking this, but he should be asking donations to places like the Red Cross, and to help and to use and have people use their resources to help these nonprofit organizations from going to these places of tragedy and try and fix them. Because that's where it's important, right? We need to help those places out, places like the Red Cross, potentially the Salvation Army, so that they can assist the individuals in those areas. I don't know about you, but I'm very wary about anything that is a Trump charity. But potentially, I think that would be the better charity to be asking donations to. He should be rallying people together, and I just don't see that out of him. In fact, I will challenge you. In fact, I'll do it for you, to be honest with you, to type in the words Donald Trump helping victims of Helene and basically see what you get. So if we type in Donald Trump helping victims of Helene, this is what we get. All right, wonderful. He's doing his best. Oh, look at that. He's standing in front of the press. He's talking to people. He's standing in front of a building. Yep, he's talking to people. He's making speeches. All right, fine. Why did I point this out? Well, let me go ahead and point out another thing. Type in Kamala Harris helping victims of Helene. Go ahead and type that in. Do you want to see what pops up? Yep, there we go. That's what pops up. Look at that. That right there. That right there. That. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, focusing on the topic at hand, you got Kamala Harris helping people out. And that's the pictures you see. But Donald Trump, he's just standing around. This is what pops up when you type in Donald Trump helping victims of Helene. Just him looking at the damage. He doesn't do anything. He's not doing anything. He's not helping out. He's not getting in the trenches. So here's the thing. I don't like to politicize this. I don't really like talking about it, right? And considering that there is another major hurricane, as of this recording, another major hurricane is heading toward Florida. Probably by the time you see this recording, it's probably already hit. And there's probably already tragedy and damage and billions of dollars of damage going to happen. Now, I know you might say that this is all political, and I understand. Both presidential nominees have politicized this to a degree. There has been some misunderstanding. I do believe it's a misunderstanding between Ron DeSantis and Kamala Harris about phone calls, but I won't get into that, and that's not what I'm here to focus on today. I'm here to focus on the character of these individuals, right? And you might say today that, hey, you know what? This is not an election based on... It's not an election based on character to me. It's policies. Policies, right? Policies over character. I don't know why we think that it has to be this extreme of one or the other. I think a lot of people look at this stuff and think, oh, well, it's got to be the extreme when I choose a president. It's all policy. But yet we never consider character, right? In a situation like tragedies, and trust me, there will be tragedies in the next 4 years. There will be natural disasters in the next 4 years, right? And if we take the adage that we hear a lot, the common sense phrasing, if actions speak louder than words, then maybe character over policy is something that we want. Because if we have a good character, then we're going to want to try and help as much as we can. Policies can be indifferent. They can be cold. But character involves emotion. And in situations like this, we need a lot of emotion and heart. So, with that being said, thank you so much. And if you dare, hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, please think critically.